When you grasp the value of time, life gains meaning. This phrase from Seneca carries a simple truth yet devastating. In this video, we'll explore why we waste the most precious resource we have, how the Stoics viewed the relationship between time and death, and how you can transform empty days into a life of purpose and presence. If you feel time slipping through your fingers, this video was made for you. Think about something for a moment. Every second passing while you watch this isn't just time. It's a piece of your life moving away from you, forever. There's no pause button, no replay, no refund. Time is the only asset you cannot recover. And yet, we treat it as if it were infinite. Seneca lived over 2,000 years ago. He was a philosopher, advisor to Emperor Nero, one of the great names of Stoicism, and he wrote something that should be engraved in every person's mind. It is not that we have little time, but that we waste much of it. He saw rich men protecting their coins with tooth and nail, yet giving away their hours as if they were worth nothing. Now imagine what Seneca would say if he could see our era, an age where distractions aren't just abundant, they're designed. Apps made to addict, notifications programmed to interrupt, entire days that disappear in empty scrolls, meaningless conversations, tasks that lead nowhere. We live as if life were a rehearsal, as if the real show would start later. But this right now is all you have. If this theme touches you in any way, if you've ever felt the weight of days passing without leaving anything behind, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, leave your like. Because what comes next may change the way you see every moment of your existence. Most people live as if they were immortal. They postpone dreams, avoid difficult conversations, wait for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment doesn't exist. And while we wait for it, life drains away. The Stoics practiced something called memento mori, the remembrance of death. Not to live in fear, but to live awake. Marcus Aurelius, another giant of Stoicism, wrote to himself, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." This wasn't pessimism, it was brutal clarity. When you accept that your days are numbered, every choice gains weight. Think about this practically. If you live to 80 years old, you'll have about 29,000 days. Sounds like a lot, until you calculate how many are already gone. How many of those days do you actually remember? How many were lived with intention, with presence, with purpose? Most dissolve into a fog of automatic routine. Think about this practically. If you live to 80 years old, you'll have about 29,000 days. Sounds like a lot, until you calculate how many are already gone. How many of those days do you actually remember? How many were lived with intention, with presence, with purpose? Most dissolve into a fog of automatic routine. Now answer honestly. How many times today did you pick up your phone without thinking? How many hours of your week were spent on activities that don't feed your soul? I'm not talking about productivity at all costs. I'm talking about intentional living, about being conscious of where your life is going. The most dangerous theft of time isn't dramatic. It's not the crisis, not the unexpected. It's the slow erosion caused by small, invisible habits. Like water dripping on stone, they sculpt away the days until you look back and ask, where did it all go? Psychologists call this automatic living on autopilot. You wake up, follow the same routine, respond to the same triggers. You complete tasks, but you're not present. An autopilot is a silent thief. It steals not just time, but the depth of experience. Seneca warns us, life is long enough if well lived. The problem isn't the duration, it's how we hand away fragments of it. We lose minutes here, hours there, entire days in the fog of meaningless repetition. And this isn't exclusive to our era. In ancient Rome, people also filled their days with trivialities, endless gossip, preparations for a future that never arrived. The tools have changed, but the temptation remains. The illusion that being busy is the same as being alive. But business isn't life. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the psychologist who studied the concept of flow, discovered something crucial. People feel most fulfilled when they're deeply absorbed in challenging activities. But reaching that state requires uninterrupted blocks of focused time, something we rarely protect. We allow constant interruptions, not realizing that every break in focus costs more time than we imagine. Aristotle spoke of telos, the clear purpose toward which an action is directed. When you know your telos, the noise dissipates. Every activity either brings you closer to it or takes you away. Without this clarity, time escapes because you can't distinguish the essential from the trivial. To align your time with your values, first you need to discover what those values truly are. And this, for many people, is the hardest part. Our lives are filled with inherited expectations, from family, from society, from older versions of ourselves. We confuse these imposed scripts with our own inner truth. But until you separate what's truly yours from what was given to you, your time will never be your own. Socrates declared that the unexamined life is not worth living. It wasn't an invitation to cruel self-criticism, but to honest inquiry. An examined life is one where your time doesn't scatter in all directions, but is guided by an internal compass. That compass is built from your values. Once you know them, every decision about time becomes clearer. If you value creativity, you'll notice when you neglect it. If you value health, you'll perceive when you trade rest for meaningless activity. If you value relationships, you'll see when they're being pushed aside by business disguised as importance. But here's where the real challenge begins. Alignment requires sacrifice. You cannot live a life of meaning and still say yes to every demand placed upon you. Every hour spent is an hour that cannot be spent elsewhere. Saying yes to one thing is saying no to another. The question is, which no can you live with? The Stoics saw life as a work of art. Each day was another brushstroke on the canvas. If you waste too many brushstrokes on random marks, the final painting will lack coherence. But if each stroke is deliberate, guided by vision, the result will be something you're proud of. Greg McKeown popularized the philosophy of essentialism. The idea is to focus on the few things that truly matter and let the rest go. It's not about doing less out of laziness. It's about doing less so you can give more of yourself to what truly counts. That's why reflection is so important. Ask yourself regularly, does this activity reflect my highest values? Does it contribute to the life I want to build? If the answer is no, you need the courage to let it go. Even if it's comfortable, even if it pleases others. The deepest understanding you can have is this: you never truly have time. You only experience it in the present moment. The past is memory, the future is imagination. Both are shadows. The present is the only reality where life exists. This may sound simple, but think about how often we live elsewhere. We replay conversations from years ago, carrying regrets like heavy stones, or we leap into imagined futures, worried about events that may never happen. In both cases, we abandon the only place where we can truly live, now. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus taught that we shouldn't waste energy on what's beyond our control, and nothing is more beyond our control than the past and the future. We cannot rewrite yesterday, we cannot guarantee tomorrow, but we can choose how we live today, and that choice is everything. When you fully inhabit the present, something extraordinary happens. Time feels richer, slower, fuller. A simple conversation comes alive with details. The warmth in someone's voice, the light in their eyes. A walk in the park becomes a symphony of sensations. The sound of leaves beneath your feet, the scent of air, the shifting patterns of clouds. Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring the past or neglecting the future. It means letting them serve their proper purpose. The past is a teacher, the future is a guide, but the present is life itself, and if you miss it, you miss everything. Seneca wrote that life is long enough if you know how to use it, and the greatest use of life isn't to chase more time, but to be fully alive in the time you already have. You'll never reach a perfect moment where the noise stops, the chaos settles, and you're finally free to live. That freedom must be claimed now, even in the middle of imperfection. This awareness has another gift. It dissolves the fear of endings. When you understand that each moment is complete in itself, you stop clinging to the idea that more is always better. You see that the quality of your life isn't measured by its length but by its depth. Alan Watts compared life to music. The point of music isn't to reach the end of the song but to enjoy every note along the way. In the same way, the point of life isn't to reach some final destination, but to experience the journey in its fullness. When you grasp this, you stop rushing, you stop postponing, and you begin to live now. So what would it mean for you to live today as if it were both your first and last day? Not in a frantic or desperate way, but with reverence. You'd probably choose your words more carefully, listen more deeply, savor more fully. You'd notice the moments you usually overlook. You'd treat your time not as something to be spent carelessly, but as a sacred resource to be honored. And here's what you need to take from this video. Grasping the value of time isn't about squeezing more things into your day. It's about allowing more of your day to enter into you. It's about being fully awake to the life you already have. Your time is your life, and your life is now. Guard it, cherish it, live it, because one day, sooner than you think, you'll look back, and you'll see not just how much time you had, but how you chose to spend it. The people who live with meaning aren't those who had more years, but those who made their years count. And the way to make your years count is simple. Live this moment as if it matters more than any other. Because it does. Perhaps the greatest tragedy isn't that we die, but that so many of us never truly live. While we're here, we drift, we postpone, we numb ourselves with distractions, telling ourselves there will be time later. But later isn't promised. If you could see a countdown clock above your head, showing exactly how many days you have left, how would you live differently? Who would you forgive? What conversations would you finally have? What dreams would you stop postponing? You don't need to see that clock to know it exists. The sand is already falling in the hourglass, whether you look at it or not. The moment you accept this, life changes. Your priorities sharpen. You stop wasting words. You choose experiences over possessions, connection over comparison, growth over comfort. You realize that the greatest wealth isn't money, but moments. The richest person isn't the one with the most to their name, but the one who lived most deeply, loved most fiercely, and was most present for the miracle of their own existence. So let this be your turning point. Decide that your time is too valuable to be given to anything unworthy of it. Decide that every day will hold at least one moment of pure presence, one act of intentional love, one choice that reflects who you truly are. Because when you reach the final moments of your life, you won't be wishing for more time to scroll feeds, more time to worry, more time to please strangers. You'll wish for more time with the people and passions that made you feel alive. And the only way to have that wish granted is to give it to yourself today. Seneca's wisdom isn't a relic of the past. It's a call to action for your present. Hear it, answer it, live it. Because when you truly grasp the value of time, life gains not just meaning but gains beauty, urgency, and depth beyond anything you've ever known. And in that moment, you'll no longer fear the endings, because you'll know you lived. Thank you for watching.